Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto, Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto, Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, formerly known as ARPANET, created by whom? We the people, we the people, we the people. And as time goes on, as we move forward, please remember it's about we the people. Also, people, please don't forget free speech. Please don't forget you have the ability to tell the truth. Please don't let them do to you what they're starting to do to many. Please make sure that we continue, that we maintain the ability to speak. And that's where you are going to always come in to ensure that we always maintain independent media that doesn't suffer from something I'm going to speak about a little bit later. Not the time yet, but beforehand, let's go to the studio where we are blessed to have El Senor Jack Van Beber and Mayana. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good morning. A little rough morning, but we're good. Well, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Good morning, Egberto. How are you? How are you, Neil?
I'm doing fine.
Good. Good morning, everyone.
All right. Here's your headlines. Not this morning's, but part of this morning's. Chris O'Leary, Senior Vice President of Global Operations at the Sofan Group, told Kat Tur that most political violence in America is from the left. This is a verifiable lie. Throughout American history, the majority of political violence has come from the political right, although there has been notable violence from the left. In the 19th century, right-wing violence was foundational to the U.S. political landscape. Before the Civil War, pro-slavery forces regularly used violence to suppress abolitionist speech and uprisings, from Bleeding Kansas to the beating of Senator Charles Sumner on the Senate floor. After the Civil War, the Ku Klux Klan launched campaigns of terror during the Reconstruction to reestablish white rule and disenfranchise black voters, aimed at overturning the democratic gains of freed people. These groups were linked to the Democratic Party of that era, which was the party of the Southern planter elite. I'm going to stop it there because I got a lot written, but that's it.
Well, look, no problem, my brother. I mean, these are hell times right now that we have to be strong about, and we have to make sure that we do things right. So before I get into my soliloquy here, let me go ahead and introduce, of course, today's Thursday, which means it is Neil Aquino Day. Brother Neil Aquino, good morning, founder of the Houston Democracy Project at HoustonDemocracyProject.com, keeping us informed on both local and national issues. Good morning, Neil.
Right. Good morning. And I think just going to start off by saying we're going to need each other's backs in the days ahead. There's we can't yield an inch. We can't yield an inch in the days ahead, and we're going to talk about that today. But we are not going to lose our freedom or repression over the events yesterday.
Absolutely, and let me start my soliloquy on the events of yesterday. First of all, I completely condemn. I repeat, But before I start, let me welcome Margot Lind. Welcome aboard, Barbara Fitante, beautiful Barbara Fitante from Austin, Texas. JRC, welcome aboard. Jane B. in from North Carolina. We also have Sabrina, Lucille, Moracosta, John A. Davis. Thank you guys all for being here in our other chat. Of course, we have Joe from Los Angeles, California. We have Lita Bearcat from Austin, Texas. Lisa Blair from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you all for being here. Any of you in the chat that are teachers, thank you guys for all that you do. I know that there is going to be a lot of suppression of what you can teach in the days to come. Let me just tell you to hold your head up high. There's one person on MSNBC. His name is Ali Velshi. I like the way he is able to come close to the line to tell the truth, yet not offend the plutocracy sufficiently to be fired. But, and I bring that up, and you'll see what I bring that up in a minute. But anyway, yesterday we had the tragic event, of course, of someone, a sniper, taking out Charlie Kirk. For those of you who don't know who Charlie Kirk is an influencer, mostly a young influencer that goes around colleges to sort of gin up support for the conservative movement at universities, etc. His mission out of the plutocracy. In fact, you would not see. This guy was funded with over $100 million. And if you watch the news today, you would have the belief that it was inherently his doing that brought that money. Like I've always said, in our system, if you are chosen, money becomes optional because you will be awashed in it. And our Charlie Kirk was awashed in money, gave him the ability to do a whole lot of things. Now, we do not condone violence. I must say that we do not. In fact, we are against, the kinds of guns that take this guy out, etc. But let's be clear here. What's occurring on the mainstream media right now deifying Mr. Charlie Kirk? Again, this guy has a wife and 2 kids, a family. Nobody deserves to be murdered. But being murdered, being killed, dying, all those things do not take away your history. And history shouldn't be revised for the things that you've done. Let me take my host hat off for a minute and be a bit personal. A few years ago, I wrote a book called Tribulations of an Afro-Latino Caribbean Man. And I wrote it and I detailed all the things that I went through in corporate America, in business, and in all these things that had nothing to do with my capabilities. That it played an indelible impression on who I was. My upbringing here in the United States. Not upbringing, because I grew up in Panama. I'm a naturalized United States citizen. But the hard work, the having to work harder to prove who I was, to prove that I was capable, to prove that I was competent, it is a stressful doing that was on day in and day out in corporate America, in stores, and in business, in every part of my life. It was very difficult because as a Black, Latino, Caribbean man, I had to prove myself over and again. And as people started, as the stigma of people looking at you on pigmentation and not on your capabilities, a lot of that started to erode. A lot of that things started to get better. You saw more people coming in, and we didn't have the fallacies of judging you, of the assumptions and the stereotypes they made about you. How am I supposed to feel? And anybody like myself or any ally of mine supposed to feel as somebody who tried to a new generation, bring this prejudice into a new generation. That's why he was so beloved by the conservative movement. Because he was there to promote the same stereotypical hate of the past generation to a new generation. He was tasked to do that. Violence is terrible. Violence and killing is unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. But to deify this guy, and for all of us out there who are seeing this deification of how great this person was, he was a communicator, he did these things. This is a person who said, after the shootings and mass killing of many, that the death of a few people to maintain the Second Amendment was justified. Think about that. When he got shot, and again, like I said, we do not justify that. We do not endorse that. But at the time when he got shot, he was actually making a racist comment. They asked him about mass killings. And he asked, what are you talking about? The gang shootings in Chicago, the gang shooting? That was the question being answered then. Look, I want to be honest here. We don't support any kind of violence against anybody. But please, my brothers and sisters, let's not fall into the deification, okay? Let's not fall into the deification of people as they change what's going on here. I mean, it's hurtful to a large percent of the population. We can feel pain for somebody who's been murdered. We can feel pain for the family who has to go home without a daddy. We can be mad at the person perpetrating the crime without trying to make somebody what they're not. Because by doing so, what the mainstream media is doing with this guy right now is making it that somebody else would pick up the mantra to promote what he promoted. Now, Matthew Dowd, and I didn't know this until our brother Neil Aquino told me. Matthew Dowd got fired from MSNBC for saying something similar, just telling the truth of what I just said here. Imagine that. But anyway, I just needed to say this because I know there's a lot of Latinos out there. There are a lot of black folk out there. There are a lot of white folk that are great allies to the movement out there, watching the mainstream media with hurt and saying, how do we deify somebody that was so caustic on many? Get onto a plane, and what he tells a group of young people, he says, whenever I get onto an airplane and I see a black pilot, whenever I see a black pilot, I wonder if it's a DEI hire, and I'm concerned about flying. I'm saying it a bit off, but that is hurtful, hateful, and it promotes a lie to many. And from somebody who had to live that lie for decades, how am I? How are people that went through what I've gone through supposed to feel? Neil.
Right. I was watching Houston City Council yesterday morning. This was before the shooting, and Mayor Whitmire was responding. These are just brief remarks by the mayor, but Mayor Whitmire was responding to a Houston Chronicle story about the over-policing of protest on a Monday rally, Labor Day rally, and we talked about that last week here.
Yes.
And so, Mayor, these are just he was really addressing a different issue about city pensions, but he referenced for about 30 seconds the Chronicle story. And Mayor Whitmire said, in part due to HPD, we were, I'm paraphrasing, but not too much, we were one of the only American cities not in turmoil. And he was referencing, I believe, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. And the reason that to any extent there is turmoil in those cities is because ICE is running wild, and they've sent in federal troops. And I was just thinking about how this mainstream definition of order is not responding to injustice. Houston isn't, these cities have had federal troops in, and Mayor Whitmire and the conventional definition of turmoil is that you respond peacefully in favor of your rights against ICE kidnapping people off the street and troops in your cities. And I was just thinking how difficult it is to maintain in public a climate of just fairly and justly fighting for your rights. Those folks on the street in Washington, Chicago, and Los Angeles are doing the right thing. And so I was thinking about that yesterday. And then this shooting occurred. And I think the shooting, I saw the video accidentally, and it's horrible, right? It's horrible.
Terrible. It's horrendous. It's horrific.
And
at first I thought it was AI because it was so graphic.
Right. And I don't encourage anyone to watch it. I only watched it by accident. And it's terrible to see that happen to another human being. It is. But I was already, ruminating, thinking about how hard it is to fight for what's right when the mayor of your diverse city is defining turmoil as the rightful response to injustice. And now this, the New York Yankees yesterday had a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. And, did they have a moment of silence for the Minnesota State Senator?
No, they didn't. Were half flag staff at half flag? No.
For this. And so I oppose, I certainly am opposed to the shooting, but we cannot yield an inch. We must still be willing to go out into the streets and protest. That will be doubly important now. We have to speak with confidence with friends and family that this will be thrown against us. There was a school shooting in Denver yesterday.
That got little. Let me stop you a second, Neil, because that is what's so painful. There was a school shooting where 3 people or 4 people are in critical condition in the hospital from a young person with a gun. Now, it got second billing yesterday. It was barely mentioned. It affected a lot of
billing.
Yesterday, right? Now, the things that, again, we don't support any shooting, but the things that Charlie Kirk supported is what, in effect, allowed that shooting in Denver by not supporting regulations of guns. But what got first billing? You mentioned about the woman in the politicians in Minnesota that got shot that nobody messed with. This is a woman. She was a speaker of the House, a former speaker of the House in Minnesota. She united parties. She worked together with Republicans and Democrats. She brought unity. That's what she brought. She was murdered. When Trump was asked if he's going to do anything for them, he said, "What's the point?" Right.
Pelosi's husband,
yes,
with the hammer. They thought it was a joke. An older gentleman. But we don't be. All I can tell you, everyone listening, they are coming for our representation and our rights, and we can easily condemn a shooting because one should condemn a shooting. But then right there, we don't have to be defensive for defending our rights. Don't continue to be on the street in your conversations with friends and family. Don't yield an inch. They are coming for everything, and they will use this moment to take away our freedoms for decades and generations, because that is the goal of this.
And don't forget, we have to show good people shot, and it was nothing, right? This person that got shot, nobody should be shot. There should be violence against nobody. But the deification of Charlie Kirk that is occurring right now is a disservice, and by the mainstream media, is a disservice to all of us. And the reason it's a disservice to all of us, especially during this time where we're having too many of these things occur. And as these things occur, the deification of a Charlie Kirk and not Speaker Melissa Hartman, who united people. Melissa Hartman tried to get people together. Democrats, Republicans, Independent. She worked together to get these people together. But nothing for her. We lost. Okay, he's back. All right, let me go ahead and talk to Tag. And guys, if the phones get really busy, I'm going to kind of limit the amount of time because, but right now we only have 4 people. So Tag, come on in.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to say, if anybody is really interested in who Charlie Kirk was, all we need to do is look at Turning Point, which he was. I don't know if he was a creator of Turning Point.
He was a CEO and he created it. Yes.
Right. You go back to the early days of Turning Point, they were sending people into abortion clinics trying to prove that the abortion clinics were selling human organs to shut these. It's women's health care. He was trying to shut down the clinics for women's health care. And that's a very terrible thing. He was doing it based on lies that he perpetuated. And I think that, if we went right down the list of the things that Turning Point USA has done, we'd all be very upset. So
yeah, he also had a watch for all our. Thank you very much, Tag. Let me just say this to you on some of the things. He also had a watch list on teachers. I usually called it the hit list on teachers, right?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I just wanted to mention the Texas A&M professor, Melissa McCool, who was fired. And I want, just as we talk about these continuous assaults on our rights, that young woman went in there to cause a fuss at that class. That woman was teaching her class. They have no courage. She's fired. And this is the climate that we're living in, where we can't even have simple free expression at a public university that our tax dollars pay for. And I'm not yielding 1 inch this morning. That's just my theme.
We must not.
1 inch this morning.
Listen, Matthew Dowd, I have interviewed Matthew Dowd a couple of times, got fired from MSNBC for telling the truth. He got fired for telling the truth. People, I don't know if you understand what that means. Matthew Dowd on MSNBC, the purported progressive leaning channel, got fired for telling the truth.
Right.
Okay. And MSNBC apologized for Matthew Dowd not promoting violence, not promoting anything, just telling the truth. He got fired. So I'm going to back up a second here and say that is why you need independent media that doesn't have somebody who is going to fire them for telling the truth, because you know who our loyalty is? You. Thank you, Tag. I got to go to John. Come on in, John.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good day.
You too. John, come on in.
Thank you.
Line 3.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
You could have said it more beautifully this morning. Yeah, and to me, it is a good morning. And it's very difficult for me to listen to this story. I think you put it perfectly. I've accepted Buddhism 15 years ago, so it's difficult for me to sit here and tell you that it was a positive thing that a man got killed and lost his life. And I don't condone it either. But he's already taken aim at my son because now that conservative thing that's all of a sudden the Supreme Court violates the Constitution and says it's okay to racial profile. It's okay to get rid of affirmative action. Affirmative action allowed me to work 36 years for AT&T and become successful and make a living for myself. That's what affirmative action did for me.
And you were qualified, and competent.
I made it to the top of my profession where I was an expert when I retired. And that's what that did for me. Had that not happened, had there not been a 14th Amendment, had there not been a First Amendment, had the Supreme Court, had there not been a Brown versus Education, Board of Education, none of that would have happened. Civil rights is what did it for me. And we were getting it right. And then you started killing people. You killed Kennedy. You killed his brother. You killed Martin Luther King. You didn't think anything about it then.
Malcolm, don't forget Malcolm X in there.
Oh, of course there's Malcolm X in there. Of course there is. And right now there was several other people that were killed that nobody cared. So thoughts and prayers to Charlie Kirk's family. But you know what? I'll tell you this, and this sounds I'll be sarcastic about it. He's died doing what he loved to do.
There you go. Thank you, my brother.
And we're not going to define we're not going to define, Martin Luther King. We're not going to define order as justice. That was a theme of the letter from the Birmingham jail. We're not going to define the absence of conflict, and and we keep having to trip over our words. I don't mean violent conflict, but that's what they do. They keep us. We know what we mean in our hearts.
We don't let them stop us, Neil. You can't.
We're not going to let them stop us, and we're not going to let Mayor Whitmire or anyone tell us that the absence of disagreement or not fighting justice is what defines an absence of turmoil or a kind of order that the establishment and capital is happy and is comfortable with.
Thank you very much, Neil. Let's go to, I have a young person on. Let's go to Xavier. Xavier, come on in. I want to give Xavier a chance to say something because these people are his age. Go ahead, Xavier.
Good morning. I just want to say, no one should die prematurely. We don't know what happens when we die, and I'd hate to find it before I could live my life. I feel bad for him and his family, especially his wife. But, I just want to say I've been a firm believer that if you live your life full of hatred, and not only to be full of hatred, but to kind of spew hatred and that hateful kind of racist rhetoric. And then he made it his mission to also defend the current administration. And he said, the quote unquote good things they're doing. So I'm a firm believer that when you put yourself around these hateful people, bad things happen to you. Whenever you're not empathetic to people around you and their struggle and their strife, and you make it your mission to kind of, if you will, poke the bear, you're kind of inviting anger. You're kind of inviting hatred yourself because you are spewing hatred rhetoric. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for anybody that dies prematurely, but you got to think about the things that you're saying and how they affect people. He could have just said the wrong thing that affected the wrong person on the wrong day one day.
Well,
instead of just trying to be empathetic, like I said.
Xavier, I think you nailed it. Now, I have I won't say it on air, but I have some actual that hit was pretty tight, sadly, and I have some things in that I am looking into right now. But anyway, we'll talk about that another time if what I'm thinking materializes. But anything else, Xavier, before I jump to Patrick?
It's okay to be a Republican or conservative, but just be empathetic towards your fellow human being that's going through the same thing you might be going through. That's all.
Exactly. Thank you, my brother. You keep listening and you keep putting out that positive word, sir. Thank you for being here.
Great.
Let's go to Brother Patrick. Come on in, Brother Patrick. Line 3.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, brother. Talk to me.
Pretty much along the same lines as Xavier. He said it pretty well. I'm not going to have the same amount of sympathy for Charlie Kirk as I would for a member of the press from Palestine or somebody else working for peace. This guy was not working for peace, and he did kind of invite this into his life, I believe. He was quoted over and over saying that several lives a year or many deaths a year is worth having the Second Amendment.
Mm-hmm. He did say that.
He died. He lived by the sword and died by the sword.
You know, it's amazing because let me tell you what I did last night, right? As I was doing some research, TikTok also came up and they actually had the video of him saying that, you know, with AI out there and all that sort of stuff, I don't take videos at face value anymore. So I'm like, Charlie Kirk could not have possibly said that. Charlie Kirk could not have possibly said that. So I went ahead and went down that rabbit hole and did my research. And by God, he actually said that. He said that on April 5th, 2023, after a mass shooting. I mean, it was like, oh my God, that's real. And look at when he said it. So, I mean, again, it's sad that we have to keep on saying this. We do not condone violence. We're sad for his family and his children. And the reason I repeat it is that we get people that come on to the show in midstream and whatever. So I want people to understand we have humanity. We have humanity. Patrick, my lines are really, really full. Anything else real quick, sir?
No, sir. That's everything. Have a great day.
Thank you. We'll see you at 3 if you're there. Let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian. Line 2.
Yes. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He wasn't killed. You understand this? He was killed for freedom of speech. He was assassinated for speaking an opinion about something that he strongly believed in.
Who assassinated him? Wait. That's right. Hold on.
Interrupting me.
Brian,
interrupting me.
Brian, who assassinated?
Interrupting me.
Brian, who assassinated Mr. Kirk?
We don't know yet.
So that statement that you made is absolutely
me. I'm going to make a point here, man.
No, you're not going to make a point because you came and told a lie. You don't know who killed Charlie Kirk. So when you said that he was assassinated for free speech, that is speculation. Is that correct or not?
As an average, you give me 36 seconds.
If you're going to talk silliness, again, bye. Let's go to Bard.
Yes, all Charlie Kirk did was have a respectful dialogue with people he disagreed with. Now, you can blame it on racism, abortion, whatever, all your left-wing nut job tranny.
All right, next caller. Let's go to John.
Next caller. Thanks.
John. Come on in, John. Line number 1. Let me just tell you, folks, if you're going to call in, I speak to left, right, middle, or hold on a second, John. I speak to left, right, middle, or whatever. But today is not a day that I'm going to take the nonsense that comes from the right unless it is conservative, fact-based information.
We're not yielding an inch.
Not at all,
folks. No.
Okay. If you call in with stupidity, don't bother calling. Come on in, John.
Yes, he did advocate dying by the sword, living by the sword and dying by the sword. And, just reasonable gun control might have prevented the deaths of 2 children at a Catholic school here and another child who is fighting for her life. This doesn't happen elsewhere in other countries. It happens here. And why does it happen here? Because we have too many guns. We give these guns to people that shouldn't have them. I'm sorry. And as far as Charlie Kirk, it could have been somebody who disliked him because he's so, irritating, I think, to a lot of people. Maybe one of his former supporters actually shot and killed him. And yes, it's a tragedy, but, when you advocate such violence and hate, I'm sorry, but this is the result.
And let me just say, John, I want to interrupt you for something because you said something that is very important, or you alluded to something that is very important. And what the mainstream media is doing with the deification of this man is actually going to promote more of what you just said. We need to not mourn his death, but we need to say it is wrong for somebody to have murdered this guy. It is wrong.
Right.
But at the same time, we should not be putting some false praise onto somebody that promoted hate, that promoted that when children died, he said, well, a few deaths to keep my Second Amendment rights unfettered is okay. We shouldn't support any of that. We should not tell America that's what he represented. Continue, John. I'm sorry.
No, it's just unconscionable, and it does reveal, though, people like Charlie Kirk, they don't want constructive solutions to political problems or issues or anything. They just want to snuff out the other side. They have established themselves, and Donald Trump and all of these people have established themselves as being at war with us.
Yes.
It's not like we're all working together. This is not normal politics.
John, my lines are full, so I'm going to have to cut you off a little early, brother, but I get the gist of your conversation, and you're absolutely right. Let me get Neil to respond, and then I got to go to
and I just want to, I appreciate John's comments, and I want to read just super briefly from an ABC News story a couple days ago. A Tennessee man pleaded guilty Tuesday to plotting to use a weapon blah, 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 in a neo-Nazi-inspired plot to destroy an energy facility near Nashville. Okay, he wanted to shock the system and accelerate. Now, I have no idea who killed Charlie Kirk, okay? But everything's on the table. I don't think it's a conspiracy theory to tell you that we've learned over the last 10 years, everything's on the table. We don't know who did this, and I'm not making any assumption about it until they catch somebody.
Exactly. All right, let's go to Augie. And folks, I want to reduce the time a little bit because we have callers that keep calling in. Okay, Augie, how you doing, my brother? Talk to me.
Good morning. Gabby Giffords called in yesterday with condolences, and she was shot while giving a speech in Arizona. Kamala Harris called in at condolences about that. And the president was quick to lower the flag at the White House, but he was reluctant to do it for John McCain, who was a fellow Republican, but he was military, and he called military losers and suckers, and especially prisoners of war. And he also insulted the military families who had lost a military member. And when JFK died, that evening, the rich Republicans in Dallas threw a party celebrating JFK's death. And they were waited on by black workers, and they had to keep a stiff upper lip and not show any tears. As soon as they went into the kitchen, they cried their eyes out for JFK, who had died that afternoon.
Look, go ahead, Augie. I'm sorry.
And he didn't care about the 5 policemen who died because of the insurrection on January 6th, or the others who had to lose their jobs because of their injuries.
They wouldn't even put the plaque on in Congress. Johnson,
he pardoned them.
Yeah, they pardoned them, and there's a plaque honoring the police officers. Johnson would not even put the plaque up in the rotunda. Think about that. That's the kind of people we're talking about. Augie, my lines are full, brother.
And let me tell you this.
One thing.
Beyond
wait. Let Augie finish, and then let Augie finish. Yeah, go ahead, Augie.
Dan Rather was fired from his job at CBS because he was going to have a copy of George W.'s military record, which was a lousy record. But that's it. Well, thanks for all you do, guys.
Thank you, brother. Sorry to interrupt you, Neil. Go ahead, brother.
No, I apologize for we're right. You know, it's not just the defensiveness this morning. I'm coming to this morning from a place of we're correct. We're fighting for our freedom. We are fighting for a racially and economically just society. That's my view this morning. We're coming from the platform that we're doing the right thing, and that's where I'm taking it. And we're sticking together, and we're not yielding an inch.
Thank you. And those of you that are listening to us, remember, don't allow them to make, again, nothing. When martyrs were actually shot down, people stood up and continued the move. Don't let them turn this into, oh, look at what they've done to Kirk. Because, again, first of all, we don't know who did this. Right. We don't know who did it. It could be something. Well, I'm not going there. No speculation. Let's go to Eddie. Come on in, Eddie. All right, Eddie will be in a second. Eddie, you're on.
Good morning. Can we all just recognize for a minute the important role this man had in political discourse? He took on all sides, all comers, and tried to have civil debates, which is something this world needs desperately. And he
Eddie, can I ask you a question? Eddie, first of all, you don't know why he was murdered. Is that correct or not? You do not know why.
All right, we can run round and round in circles like that, but
no, it's not, sir. It's not round and circle, Eddie, brother. It's not in circles. We don't have a suspect, and that's concerning. We don't have a suspect arrested. We do not know why Kirk was murdered. We don't know that. Number two, I don't know if you started the program when at the beginning. Did you start the program at the beginning?
I came in about 5 or 10 minutes ago, so no.
Did you hear my soliloquy, or did you not hear my soliloquy?
Mm-hmm. I did not. No.
Okay. Well, let me tell you why. Let me tell you. No, wait. Hold on, my brother. Let me tell you why I'm asking you that. No, I'm not saying bye to Eddie, Cynthia, because Eddie is actually a very good conservative. He's one of the good guys. Eddie, hear me out here. I do not justify murder or killing at all. But what you call civil discourse by Kirk caused me pain and created a mass of people believing the fallacies of DEI. I watched him for the things that I had to fight through corporate America, for the things that I had to fight through as a businessman, for the things that I had to fight through going into stores, for the challenges that I had as a Black, Latino, Caribbean man. This guy was a clear and present danger to me. Okay? And what I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Eddie, I'm going to let you speak, Eddie, because this is important. This is important. When he promotes what he promoted, what you call civil discourse, I can teach hate with a smile. I can teach hate with civility, which is what he did. I can teach all of that with civility. But you sit in my shoes and listen to what he promotes to the next generation. And you see all the things that I've ever fought for going down the drain. Because it makes people believe that I have to fight that war all over again, that women have to fight that war. When he talks about women going to college to get a man and then leaving, women fought that battle already. And he's trying to create a generation that puts that back, my brother. Anyway, continue, sir.
All he promoted was a conservative idea. And you may not like it, you may not disagree with it, but that doesn't mean he deserved to die.
Did I say?
No one said he deserved to die, sir.
Did anybody here? Did anybody here say that, Eddie?
No one said that.
I am routinely called racist and misogynistic because
he
of
is.
what I believe.
He is. He is a racist and he is a misogynist. I mean, by the definition of those words, he is.
You have lumped me in with every conservative and said I'm racist and misogynistic.
That's not true.
For Donald Trump.
Eddie, I've spoken to you before, and that's the reason you're still on. People are telling me throw you off. I've said, no, you are a good conservative. No, don't say that because that's not true.
We're not going to normalize this guy.
Elected because the people are racist and misogynistic. There's no fact to back that up.
Are you kidding me? Eddie, I tell you what, because we have so many people, I can't spend more time with you. But we need to go over that because we need to start seeing things through the same lens. But you keep listening and you keep calling because you have a voice here. We'll talk later, Eddie. Let's go to Spike.
Hey, what's happening? How y'all doing?
Talk to me, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday was a good day for Trump now. You know, you didn't hear nothing about the Epstein files.
Oh.
I'm not through. Let me, if I can go head on.
Yes, sir. Please do.
You didn't hear nothing about the Epstein files. Charlie Kirk was one, and he had that big platform. He was one that said, They to bring all that out. He said the Trump administration need to bring all that out. He kept saying that, and that platform he had was major. And we got to get rid of him. I'm gonna tell you, just like this. See, we did just what they wanted us to do yesterday. You know, say, oh wow, man, this was a political assassination. The man was murdered, and he was murdered by them.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there, Spike, because given that you're a caller, you can say that. But I am going to make a confession to you. When I figured out two things, when I saw the layout of that campus, when I saw that the person it was a sniper shot of over 500 feet, when I saw all those things, I started to have questions about what actually happened. I would not come on the radio and say it the way you said it because I have a certain amount of responsibility. But It's a question, sir. And on the chats right now, people are giving you kudos. But thank you, sir. Anything else, Spike, before I jump? I got to go.
I just wanted to bring that out, man. You know, I hope people can look past that. What they use the world news, CNN, MSNBC. See, they control. Some very powerful people. They can put that out there, and that's all you was fed all day yesterday, like he was a senator, a congressman, or the president. They done been murdered. One of them done been murdered. And he was an influencer. But they kept that going all day.
Thank you very much, my brother. Have a good one.
Great, sir.
Thank you. I want to salute Jacqueline Campisi, professora from Katy, Texas. Thank you for being here, beautiful. We also have Billy Irwin from Summerwood, Lita Bearcat from Austin, Texas, and many others in the chat. Thank you guys for all being here. Let's go to Brother Bruce, line number 4. All right, let's go to line number 1, Champ. Line number 1, Champ.
They said something very interesting on the attitude this morning. They said it's not proper to use race or ethnicity in hiring or in schools, but it's perfectly acceptable to use it in profiling people to deport. And also
to arrest due process.
Yes, sir. And also, when our current resident of the White House got shot in the ear, and they found a guy with a rifle outside a golf course, how come nobody was complaining that both of those were Republicans and had actually voted for him?
Ironic, isn't it? But by the way, you are telling something that's been reported. Ironic, though. Yeah. Anyway, Champ, thank you very much for your call. We're right.
I mean, how come the right wings?
Real quick.
Come the right wing wasn't complaining about them is what I meant.
Yeah, I know. I got what you meant, and you're absolutely right. I mean, you just take a look at the funny, interesting things, and then look at the mainstream. Right now, the mainstream media is unwatchable with this issue. It's unwatchable right now. I have to watch it for my audience, but it's unwatchable right now. Thank you very much, Champ. Let's go to, bless you, Neil. Let's go to Bobby, I think. Come on in, Bobby.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, I wish there was like some kind of mental test or something more they could do to, check people's mental, if they're crazy or not before they sell them guns instead of just checking the felonies. But, with that said, whoever was on that roof and took that shot, it wasn't the gun's fault. It was that person's fault. And I just want to say, with as much military are showing up on, in different cities from Trump deploying all these troops, there's a lot of, at least me, I've never really trusted any federal government. I'm always leery that they might start to abuse their power. So I like keeping my guns. But if, for those people who are thinking, well, we need to get all these guns off the street. A long time ago, I had a conversation with one of my coworkers. I was like, well, what do you think about that? And he mentioned to me that in China, where guns are very hard to get, they're very limited, that there was a mass stabbing, and these happen, fairly often, where there was 31 people killed and another 143 stabbed up with knives. So, if that's a lot of people in one mass stabbing, 30-something people got stabbed to death. He's like, so what are you going to do then, Bob? Are you going to ban all the pointy objects, in society? I was like, okay, so I could see his point that
let me just say, no, I don't see you as I don't see you as a, I can see that you're a gun advocate, and I think it's fine. I mean, look, I'm not trying to take your guns away. I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm trying to have good gun control. I'm trying to have it that because of our businesses that the reason we have more guns than people by others is not because people want all that many guns. It's because they promote having all these guns for business. We are getting people killed for business. Brother Bobby, I want you to have your gun and go do what you want to do with your gun if you're responsible. I have got no problem with it at all. The lie that you've been voting on when you vote for people who protect your Second Amendment is to make the assumption that progressives don't like their guns too. A lot of progressives that I hang with are hunters. A lot of them, they go out there, they like to target shoot. But you don't know that, Bobby, because they've lied to you in order for them to sell a whole bunch of guns unfettered. Brother, we're not all that different when it comes to the things we want.
It was the Trump administration that
myself mainly as Democrat. So
go ahead,
I don't
sir.
really hold that view that you're assuming I do, but.
Okay, I was just assuming. Yeah, you're right. I assumed. I kind of assumed.
Yeah.
And you know what they say, assume and do, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, thank you for your call, Bobby.
Have a good day.
You too. Neil, I interrupted you. Go ahead and see what you were saying.
No, and I just want to point that it's the Trump administration after the shooting in Minnesota last week that floated the notion of not allowing trans people, that reportedly is considering not allowing trans people to own guns. And let's see what restrictions on our Second Amendment rights come from this yesterday.
None whatsoever. There's nothing
on arms.
There's nothing on arms that's going to come out of yesterday. I mean, and this stuff about Trump saying, let's not arm these other people. No, because that will affect their sales. Are you kidding me? They're not going to, sales are more important than lives. I want to salute John Cotter. Hey, John, I got to give you a call about the things we've been discussing. It's a full go every afternoon. Just, you know what I'm talking about. It's a full go every afternoon or any afternoon. Or I should say any evening. Richard, last call. Come on in, Richard.
I'm afraid this is going to be a Herschel Greenspan moment, who was a Polish Jew who went to Paris and killed a Nazi in November 7th of 1938, which triggered the Kristallnacht, which led to the Holocaust. And whether this was an inside job or not, that remains. I don't know if it'll ever be found out. It's certainly, for a conspiracy, I don't want to say nut, but conspiracy minded, it certainly looks that way so far. But either way, the right is going to use this to catapult all kind of violence against people that are peacefully protesting like we do. And I'm scared to death now that this is just going to give them reason just to veer into us or shoot us or attack us.
No. Let me.
Well, Richard, are you going to continue to I know, Richard. Are you going to continue to protest, Richard? What are you going to do?
Absolutely. If you want to kill me over Donald effing Trump, kill me. I'm 70 years old, man. I don't want to rot away at a damn. Listen, let me speak. Well, I don't want to rot away at a damn old folks' home. So if you think you want to take me out and make me scared, yeah, knock yourself out. All right,
Richard, hold up. Let me just say, because this is important. And I'm glad that Neil asked you that question. For all of you that are listening out there right now, there should be no change in what you need to do for change. Very important. There should be no change. You never allow externalities to change the change you need to change. Continue, Richard.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you're not going to scare me with your rhetoric and even your action. but I'm a historian. That's what I have a degree in. And Google Herschel Greenspan. Google the crystal knot. And that's all they needed. It was a tinderbox, and it blew up, and it never went back. I mean, it didn't end until 1945. You know, what goes up's got to come down. I just hope this doesn't come down like 1945 Berlin or 1945 Japan, Tokyo. And,
well, that's why you're a historian. That is why we need the historians, and that's why we need critical thinking, and that's why we need people that know this stuff that are actually promoting.
Let me say this: as far as guns, yeah, there's nothing wrong with hunting. There's nothing wrong with having. But if you want a weapon of war, join the service. If you want an AR-15 that is built to kill human beings, go join the service, dude. You know,
thank you very much. Richard, got to go. Richard, I got to go. Thank you so kindly, Richard. All right, let's go ahead to the studio.
Yeah, where I was just listening to just everything that was going on with Charlie Kirk, and I didn't realize that this had actually happened. So I'm just getting all of this because I was actually watching a video of him in England doing the thing that he normally does, the debate. Yeah. And a young man had kind of left him. He was trying to say, do you know what's going on in Africa? Do you know what's going on in India? Do you know? And the kid was just answering him back. Yes, he knew all those things. He was like, I have a diverse amount of knowledge, you know? He was like, it still doesn't make it okay, you know, for all what's going on and the things that you stand for, you know? And he just like left him standing there.
Kirk knows very little about the world. Kirk was just a mouthpiece. Ayanna. We got to get out of here, but thank you. Thank you for your comment. Hey, does Jack have anything real quick?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm clear.
Neil, close her out for me, Neil.
Great. Houston Democracy Project, HoustonDemocracyProject.com. Today is a good day ahead to double our resolve for freedom. Stay our course. Don't yield an inch. There's a lot of trouble ahead. Don't yield an inch.
Thank you, guys. I didn't get all the stuff into the show that we wanted to. The rest of the shows at politicsandright.com/newsletter, politicsandright.com/newsletter. Write me directly at kpft@politicsandright.com, kpft@politicsandright.com. Love you all. That's from the depths of my heart. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
You're listening to Prince's Band with Our Boys at a U.S. Training Camp, recorded in 1970.
Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It. As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only